be in like.
Draw a small gray.
Small gray. Damn.
Are these the aliens that you've seen?
That is not gray.
No, but.
Which ones do you see?
Yeah, these right here, the small grays. They have a little mouth.
How do they breathe?
They have nostrils, but they don't.
Do they breathe oxygen?
Yes, they can breathe oxygen. The atmosphere on their planet is very similar, but it's a binary star system, so they have like 2 suns, and which makes the air a lot drier. Their skin is their bones are more fragile than ours. But they kind of. They kind of look like that.
They don't.
What's their body look like?
Their bodies, well, I've only seen.
Do they walk around naked? Do they wear clothes? What do they do?
Yeah, the chicks have boobs.
How do they?
On their home planet. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Now, see, they didn't. I'm reading that exchange program that Steven Spielberg explained at the end of Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Draw a female up there.
Well, I don't know. They look the same.
How do you tell a male from a female?
EBE1 is a female. The one, was a female.
Draw the other one. This is the gray. Draw all 3 of them.
And then there's another one, which is actually a clone. Looks something similar, but it has they have large, pointy noses. And these right here are the tall whites, and they're actually a clone created by the small grays.
Are they Jewish?
They're like servants.
What's the angry ones look like? The reptile ones that you were talking about?
They have small eyes.
Yeah, we actually saw those in Battle LA.
They got weapons?
They have a heart.
So cool.
They have weapons.
They're kind of like an onion.
Are they evil?
How tall are those right there?
These guys right here, and they're all humanoids. So they both walk on 2 legs. They all walk on 2 legs. This thing right here is huge. They're actually they're taller than us. They stand about 6 foot something on an average to 7 foot. The one image that I have seen of them, they're huge. Like they have a very strong build.
Door is closed. This is what I wanted to hear. Let's hear feedback. You believe everything that he said?
Oh yeah, me too. Definitely.
In 2004 I became friends with an Ukrainian guy called Petro that I met completely randomly at a bar by the beach. I was on holidays and he was there with some friends having some drinks. Anyway, we started talking with each other. Our friendship started like that. He became a regular at my house where our families would get together. In 2008 he called me and asked me if I wanted to go on a road trip. I said sure. He had in mind to go to the south of Spain and visit his brother. His brother was there in jail at the time, near Huelva, and also to visit his father in Portugal. His father was a former diplomat of the Ukraine, years before, and when he retired he decided to move to Portugal and live there. And so we went. We visited his brother, and then went to Portugal to visit his father. When we were at his house, he asked us a favor, if we could empty boxes from one of the rooms, as he wanted to make it into a bedroom for guests. We said, okay, and went to the room, expecting to see some old newspapers. Instead, we found about 58 boxes full of old documents and books from the time when he was a diplomat. Some papers, documents, were in Russian. Some were even from the USSR times. Petro started reading, translating some of them, and we realized that there was a lot of interesting, intriguing, and even top secret documents. So we asked his father if we could keep the boxes for ourselves. He agreed, and we had to rent a van to take everything back to home with us. Week after week, in our houses but mainly on the weekends, we went through all of the documents, translating them, cataloging them, by subject matter, or dates and places, etc., as, due to work, we were apart quite often. We also did a lot of work online. That's when we found the book. The book that led to the videos I published. This one book that we had is undated and looks modern. But we did find the cover for the same book but dating back to 1951. We called his father later that year and asked him about the book, and he filled in the missing information. He said that amongst high-ranking political officials, there had always been the rumor of alien contact, but nothing concrete. He said that he had received the book years before from one of his lifelong diplomat friends, and had been updating the book, until recently with information that friends of his sent him, or when they would get together to talk about old times. That information was sent to him by mail, phone, or online. He still gets regular updates that transmits to me. The book has hundreds of side notes on the pages. Small papers with related miscellaneous info attached to pages. Photos stapled to them, etc. That is how we found out about relatively recent visits from aliens. Their numbers, where it happened, etc. They had been updating the information they could get regularly. But he also said that there were only a handful of people that knew, back then, the leader of the Communist Party and a couple of advisors. 5 or 6 SMERSH agents, maybe more, up to 12. The commander of the armed forces. And the commanders of the 3 armed forces branches. Army, Air Force and Navy. And maybe a couple of scientists. He said that most likely there were more people in the know. Especially in the military, but he could not confirm that. Him and his friends did not recognize some of the names mentioned on the book. People have asked me about some of the illustrations of certain alien races on the book. This because some of them were literally copied off movies and video games, not all. Me and Petro asked ourselves the same thing, as we recognized some of them. And we did contact his father in order to get an answer. He told us that over the years, the people that were adding and updating and printing the book had been using alien images from the media, when they did not have a real photo or a drawing from the witnesses. So sometimes they used images from movies and video games that better described the alien race in question. This according to the witnesses' testimonies, description of their encounters. However, he did say something else. Something extremely interesting. He told us that amongst high-ranking diplomats, there has been much solid discussion and debate about a plan involving certain media, from online, to paper to Hollywood, to the video game industry, and certain security departments, especially from Japan, China, Canada, USA and Europe, in order to use the right to them images to describe the appearance of aliens. All the media involved was, in the end, either directly, or because they owned the mother companies, owned for no more than 5 people, and that this was a concerted effort in order to get people, humankind, used to the appearance and presence of aliens amongst us. Petro's father also told us that some of the alien races, images used in video games, and other media were used in the book, prior to the release of the games and movies. Him and some of his friends had knowledge that some of those security departments had actually created some of the images and then released them to the proper channels, in order for those images to be known to the general public. This, obviously, we could not confirm, except for one of the images on the book. The aliens used in the movie Independence Day were known before the making, not even close, of the movie, by at least 8 years. Also, some of the photos on the ARB had been tampered with. And so, there you have it. The story behind the alien race's Russian secret book. At least some of it. I hope you enjoy the book and all the revelations contained in it. This book is dedicated to the memory of Petro. The ARB has been re-edited. Information always being updated in all aspects. From new alien races to new reports and photos or illustrations. At least 12 times. That we know the first edition was printed in 1946 or early 1947. Then new editions were printed, 1951. I have the cover. Just the cover, of that one. 1959, 1968, 1971, 1980, all the way to 2011. The lost copy. In the 1980s, a copy of edition of this book was found on a field in Buryatia, East Siberia. The copy ended up in the hands of a KGB agent with friends in the media. After the collapse of the USSR, some of the information and images in the book were leaked. Years later, the information and some of the images started appearing in TV series and video games, Mass Effect being the most well-known. In 1924, near Yekaterinoslav, Ukraine, the 3 daughters of a certain Captain Andreychuk simply vanished. Captain Andreychuk was of Russian descent, and very little is known about him, except that he traveled a lot. A farmer that lived near Captain Andreychuk's house said that he saw the captain's daughters walking towards the woods, maybe 2 hours before sunrise. Intrigued, he followed them at a distance. After walking for 30 minutes, he described seeing purple and red lights and a mist through the trees. He got closer and saw the 3 girls. entering what he called a floating bright windmill-like plane. He also reported seeing 5 creatures, as small as the children but with a much older face. According to him, the windmill then flew very slowly into the stars, until he could not tell them apart. According to the farmer, he ran to Captain Andrzejczuk's house to warn him about the event. This photo supposedly shows the farmer's house upon arriving. He knocked on the door but nobody answered. He then entered the house and found the captain and his wife dead on the bed. Their faces were peaceful, as if they had died during their sleep. All their animals, 3 dogs, 1 horse, and 2 goats, were dead as well. On the kitchen table there was a letter, with the handwriting that matched Sophia, one of the daughters. It said, "We are going to the school in the moon, with our friends." Supposed photo of Sophia. 2. SMERSH Agents Department IVA 112. It is your duty to thoroughly investigate all events regarding any reports of visitations or incidents concerning creatures from other planets, as well as with non-terrestrial creatures that dwell on our planet at the present or future time. It is your duty to immediately present to your superior in charge, KL-44, any material evidence gathered during your investigations. It is your duty to keep absolute secrecy and concealment regarding your findings and conclusions during your investigations, except from your superior in charge, KL-44. It is your duty to immediately destroy this book, in case your physical being or personal safety is threatened. The loss of this book, while in your possession, will result in serious consequences for your 2 SMERSH companion agents as well as for your immediate relatives. Make use of your extensive training and love for our great union. Chief Marshal Konstantin A. Version. This book of alien races is both an instructions manual and a source of information, to be used now and in the future, until the day it will be needed no more. Learn from it and add to it. When with humans, 1. Investigate events. 2. Interrogate witnesses. 3. Gather physical evidence. When with aliens, 1. Engage with them. 2. Follow them. 3. Learn from them. You are forbidden of showing this book to anyone, talking about the book to anyone, talking about or revealing your investigative activities to anyone, drinking alcohol on and off duty, consuming drugs on and off duty, helping alien races no matter the situation or request, choosing sides when physically amongst different alien races, or during investigations, and of engaging in sexual activities with any members of any alien race. The alien races. Allgruulk, aka the Builders. They come from constellation Sculptor. They derive from an ancient race of reptilians that has gone extinct. They are specialists at building ships and other devices needed for deep space traveling. They are also space travelers themselves, searching for new raw materials. They can live up to 230 years. Last seen near Tokyo, Japan, in 2005. Keely Tocket. They come from constellation Vela, near the star Suhail al-Mulif. They grow up to 2 meters high, 6 feet, and live up to 200 years. They can shape-shift and are very hard to detect. When they shape-shift, the only thing they cannot change is the size and color of their eyes. They are one of the oldest known races. They do abduct humans. Last seen on Earth in July of 2008. Pleiadians. They come from solar systems surrounding the Pleiades stars, more precisely from the planet Era near the star Taygeta. They are associated with spiritual growth. They can grow up to 2.5 meters, 8 feet. They practice sex cultivation. The distinct difference between the sexual expressions and the sensual emotions. Their ships are known as beam ships. Although regularly visiting Earth, they have remained mostly silent since 10,000 BC. They are one of the oldest known races. They continue to develop the necessary mental skills to eventually reach their goal, an even higher spiritual state. Kilomere Orc. They come from constellation Volans. The sightings of this race on Earth are rare, and they are considered as a mystery race. It is said that they were forbidden to visit Earth around the year 1000 BC. But they did not stop visiting Earth completely. This because of their allies, the race Matra. Last seen on Earth, December of 1989. Kurs, aka gods of lands. Believed to be related to the race Anunnaki. They come from the planet Dillamans. They are the race behind the story of Enlil and Ninlil. They were directly involved on the development of the human race during our early stages. After centuries away from Earth, they have recently returned. Their own leader is amongst the most recent visitors. They will now stay on Earth permanently. They will have an important role in the years to come. They spend time immersed in a precious gold-like liquid that presumably extends their lifespan. HAV Hanue Chondras. They come from Galaxy Sexton's dwarf SPH. First visited Earth in 934 AD. In the area that we now know as Romania. They often abduct and kill humans. They also drain and drink the blood of humans, as well as the blood of animals. They are responsible for the myth of vampires. Several human governments know and accept their actions. The human bodies that they use are never returned. Last sighting, Scotland, in 1996. Mazarek. They come from constellation Camelopardalis. From the 1300s to the early 1900s, our calendar. They were not allowed to leave the planet by other alien races. They are a very violent and predatory race. They are known to be allies of the race Matra. They grow up to 1.6 meters, 5 feet. Last seen on Earth, August of 2001. Al-Gruwaliks. They come from constellation Cetus, near Deneb Kaitos Shamali. Although they are often confused with reptilian races, they do not share anything with them except their appearance. Their height is around 2 meters, 6 feet, and they can live up to 350 years. This is one of 21 races that are known to have more than 2 genders. This race has 8 different genders, and all of them can reproduce with each other. The purpose for their visits to Earth is unknown. Last sighting was near Lima, Peru, in December of 2004. The Messengers. Probably the most enigmatic of all alien races. Not much is known about them. They visit Earth around every 300 years. Their next visit is supposed to happen anytime now. They do not reveal themselves. They do not make direct contact with humans. They leave carvings, drawings and writings on rocks as well as symbols in historical monuments. Their ships have the shape of a teardrop and are silver in color. Ramay. They come from Capella, constellation Auriga, known to be a very peaceful race. They tried to coexist with humans. They created the Mayan civilization by placing humans from different places on Earth in South America. They are a race of scientists. They taught the Mayans about astronomy and time. They left Earth when the Mayans were at their highest splendor. After that, the Mayans started the well-known blood sacrifices in their honor. This race has been on Earth many times after that. Last sighting, Bora Bora in 2001. Muvianthan Kafik, aka Shining Ones. They come from constellation Vulpicula. They have met with at least 2 USA presidents, as well as with USSR and, now, Russian leaders, and some high-ranking officials. They supply limited amounts of their technology to humans in exchange for the freedom to conduct abductions. They do not involve other alien races in this process. They had a big role in Siberian and Tibetan culture. They still have bases in those areas hidden in the north face of mountains. They have colonized over 40 planets outside our solar system so far. Rak. Of the 58 races described here, this is the race that least visited Earth only 5 times. They visited the area we know as the Middle East and that created the belief in the jinn, or genies, in Islamic mythology. According to some Muslim scholars, they inhabit an unseen world in a dimension beyond the existing dimensions of our universe. According to reports from other alien races, they stopped visiting Earth because their immune system could not cope with Earth's fauna and flora. Last recorded visit, 712 AD. The Invisibles. This race is known to have been seen near high security areas. They are almost completely invisible to the naked eye. Both the USA and Russian military have developed technology that allows them to track them down on radar. 3 things are known about this race. 1. They leave a sour smell when they are near. 2. When they are near windows you can't see their reflection. as a smudged-like figure. 3. When many dogs start barking with no apparent reason. It is possible that they are nearby. They come from constellation Mensa. Purpose of presence, unknown. All Mahaluk Strat. 163. They were forced to leave Earth after losing a battle against reptoids in ancient India. Date unknown, which they had been visiting for around 200 years. They have resumed their visits to Earth in 1948. Technologically, this is a very advanced race. Their ships are often invisible to radar and the human eye, and they wear some sort of clothing that makes them invisible as well. Supposedly they come from Jupiter, or from one of its moons. Last sighting, Portugal, May 2005. Ainana. The members of this race are the cause why humans coined the term Martians. They come from constellation Gemini. They have had permanent bases on Mars for thousands of years, where they mine some sort of a gold-type material. First recorded visit to Earth, 1235 BC in Japan. Last sighting, Madagascar, 2003. Indigal JTK. aka Tall White. This race has several bases on and in the moon, where they mine unknown material. They use slaves to do most of their work. These slaves are extremely well taken care of, and the Indiguk see them as indispensable. Their operations on and in the moon are very secretive. They are in almost permanent contact with high-ranking officials from the USA, China and Russia governments. They have the ability to shape-shift into an almost perfect one-lumen form. They are also known as Men in Black, as they use special dark suits to protect the skin, when in human shape while conducting special operations on Earth. Kilomat arranged by aka KR. They come from constellation Crux. Nirga Crux. It is a very hard race to track down or spot. Both the USA and the Russian military have developed a special camera and radar systems that allows to spot them when they are on Earth. But even then, they have only been sighted 8 times. The purpose of their presence is unknown. When they are sighted, it is usually in the area known as the Bermuda Triangle. 2017. They have only contacted humans one time, in the USSR in 1935. According to reports, they spoke some kind of Slavic dialect. They left a written message with about 10 sentences. They come from galaxy UDFJ 39546284. Estimated distance from Earth is 13.2 billion light-years. They travel by using what other alien races call wormhole, which allows them to bend space. On the original ARB, 9 of the sentences left by this race are blacked out. The only one that is not is this one. 2017 to 2022, according to reports. They were tall, had blonde long hair, and smelled like flowers. El Manuk. They come from constellation Crus, near the star Alnair. They are one of the most peaceful races. They co-created the Alliance of the 5 Races. Council of the 5, but are not part of it. The Council of the 5 are a group of 5 alien races that protect humans against less peaceful races. They coined the sentence, 5 universes, 2,500 species, 1 race. The Council is supposed to meet on Earth during the last 10 days of August of 2013, the reason being the fact that Earth has been receiving too many visits from new races in the past 500 years. Last sighting on Earth, near the Sea of Cortez, September 2002. Gigantic. Maintains sporadic contacts with 3 Earth governments, but not the most powerful ones. Not USA, Russia, or China, considered to have a violent nature by other races. They have been visiting Earth for 3,000 years. They come from constellation Horologium and are known to have as allies the race Matra. Last sighting, near Houston, USA, February 1st of 2003. Jeffic. They come from constellation Indus. They are known by other races as peacemakers. They are very advanced technologically. The first sighting on Earth dates back to 1500 BC. They met with JFK 3 weeks before he was killed. They have also, around the same time, met with other human world leaders. They have not been seen on Earth since JFK's death. In 1965 they gave a message to the human leaders that ran countries with nuclear capability. Dorsey. They grow to a maximum height of 0.5 meters. 1.6. They have visited Earth at least 250 times. They come from Cassiopeia, where they have 2 home planets. They eat other alien races as well as humans. Their race is at least 4 billion years old, and they have been in a constant state of war with another alien species for 2 billion years. Last sighting on Earth, November 2001. Italian Alps. Mageth. Known to be a very peaceful race. They have 2 permanent bases somewhere in South America. They are 100% nocturnal, do not interact with humans, and are described by other alien races as shy. They harvest insects and rodents by the many thousands on a monthly basis. Reason, unknown. At least 3 of them have been under Brazilian military custody for the past 12 years. Last sighting, near Oaxaca, Mexico, in 2003. They are visited by their own kind every 20 years. The next visit should be around 2016. A cart. They come from constellation Sextans. One of their ships crashed outside of Varginha, Brazil, in 1996. 2 of its occupants are under USA custody, after having paid billions of dollars to the Brazilian government. They have the fastest ships of any known alien race. Last sighting, February 2002. Near Varginha, Brazil, again. Matra. They have 2 home planets in constellation Megapae. They have the same average height as humans, and are considered by many alien races as parasites. Visited Earth for the first time, during the prehistoric period. Abduction of humans is carried out openly. They have the goal of colonizing Earth. That has not happened because of protection from other alien races, such as the ones in the Council of the Five. They are hermaphrodites, and their lifespan is 120 years. They have colonized at least 26 planets. They have abducted at least 5,000 humans, males. They have visited Earth at least 200 times. Last sighting, September 2006 near Nome, Alaska, USA. Dries. Their height is around 2.5 meters, 8 feet. They have a very complex structure of their skull. Visited Earth at least 20 times. They carry out human abductions which they use for human reproduction. They have abducted at least 520 humans, males and females. They come from the 3rd star in constellation Cetus. They have 2 home planets and have colonized at least 40 planets with the help of slaves. 10 of those planets were taken with the use of force. They work together with 3 other races. They mostly eat animal protein-derived products. According to alien reports, they are not mentally, spiritually prepared to interact with most other races. The 2 home planets' chemical composition is similar to Earth. They are supposed to reveal themselves to humans in an open manner in 2022. Lang. Small species growing only up to 70 centimeters. 2 feet. They come from the 6th star in constellation Coma Berenices. They have 3 home planets, maybe 4, and have colonized at least 10. They were one of the first races to visit Earth. They were the race that started the stories about fairies. 2 alien races claim that they have abducted over 10 million humans. Throughout history, that number is highly disputed by 2 other races. They state that the number is much lower, and one race even made a statement to a Russian president, saying that the race Lang has beaver abducted any human. Last sighting, New Zealand, in 2006. A group of 20 members. SMAD. They come from planet Svok, constellation Bataray. Their ships have a conical shape. They resemble humans in appearance. According to one alien race, they only have 6 ships left. They colonized 20 planets. 18 of them were inhabited. They first visited Earth 2,500 years ago, and are very interested in our religious beliefs. They are a race in decline, weakening, according to other alien races. Tengri. They come from planet Tengri, Galactic Sector 56, Star System F1342. They live underground, and have a population of 10 million. First visit to Earth, 10,000 years ago. They do not need an atmosphere or water to survive. They have one ship that can accommodate 5 million of their kind. They have had contact with human governments throughout history. Last known sighting, near Buenos Aires, Argentina, in 2003. Graysley. Their height averages the same as that of humans, and they are covered in a soft silky hair. They have 2 home planets in the Virgo star system. They have visited Earth at least 12 times. The first visit happened during the era, dynasties, of Egypt's pharaohs. Around 3,000 years ago. They spent 10 uninterrupted years there during that time. The Djoser Pyramid was built in their honor. They have been keeping a close look at humans' development for the past 200 years, knowing that some powerful humans can be misled by some alien races. Disguised as humans, only 6 of them travel each time in their ships. Last sightings, July 2002 and February 2004. Anunnaki, aka Anunnaks. They come from planet Nibiru, aka Nibiru. Their planet is part of the same solar system as Earth, but with a much longer orbit. It comes closer to the Sun every 4,000 years, and not every 3,500 years as commonly accepted. They resemble humans but are higher, 2.5 meters, 8, and more muscular. When they first visited Earth, there were already other races established here. Some malevolent and with supernatural powers. The Anunnaki defeated them, and became the most powerful race on Earth. They genetically engineered the most intelligent non-alien beings on Earth. Us at the time not much more than smart primates. In order to have a race of slaves at their disposal. At the time Samael AMD Lilith were the Anunnaki king and queen. They were not aware of the presence of reptilians on Earth. They only cooperate with one other race. The Zeta Reticuli, not to be confused with the Solipsirae, aka Greys. Eventually they left Earth, for unknown reasons. But before they left they created a subspecies of the Zeta. This species eventually became rulers of Egypt. Pharaohs. Until the reptilians infiltrated them as temple priests. And ended their reign. They gave birth to the legends about giants. AFIM. They come from constellation Lyra. They call themselves Aphimspiancy, because of a war that they fought against a race called Spiancy. The Spiancy race had 12 times more members and 35 times more ships and resources than the Aphim. But the Aphim won in the end. So they added the Spiancy name to their own race name, as a warning to other races. They are smaller than humans in stature and the skin is covered with blue spots. Darker for males and lighter in females. Their planet is called Crimea I Petri. Technologically they are extremely developed. They can travel from their planet to Earth in 20 Earth minutes. They do not need oxygen. They do have an atmosphere but it is composed mainly of an hydrogen mix environment. They have colonized 10 planets in a non-violent way. When they are close to humans they can become invisible. But humans when around them will feel a certain amount of unexplained anxiety. Their ships are small and spherical in shape. One of the reasons they visit us is to study what they call human deviation, in order to determine the development of the human race. Solipsirae. Peaceful and harmonious race. They one main leader and his name is Y. Martin. Their civilization is 2 billion years old, once they were at the same level of development as ourselves. They have no colonies. They are completely focused on the development of other planets and races. They come from constellation Cygnus. They do have one powerful weapon that keeps some neighboring violent races away. And others that may try to invade them. At one time race Matra lost 5 ships because of it. They said that the human race, in the next few thousands of years, still has 645 options left to save ourselves, our planet and to guarantee a future for our race, but it will all depend on our ability to travel through space. They are Solipsirae, but we call them Greys. Puxati. This race was very influential in some South and Central American cultures. At one time they had over 2,000 members living amongst humans in those regions. Until one day when most of them left, leaving behind only 25 of their own. Humans then killed them. They have not returned to Earth since that incident. They were known to be very tall. Some reports from one alien race say that some of them were as tall as 4 meters high, 13 feet. The reasons why the local humans killed the 25 Puxatis is unknown. X5 Taikut. This race was created by the race Matra in order to be used as slaves. And that is still what they serve for. They are often sent by the Matra to security-sensitive regions, working as messengers and also to conduct abductions. They can live forever as they are not organic. However, the raw materials that the Matra need to build one are very rare. So, there are not many of them, estimation, less than 300. They are able to use rational thinking, as well as flying ships and many other tasks. Last seen on Earth in July 1997. Near Brisbane, Australia. Tanzania. They come from constellation Perseus, near the star Gorgonia Secunda. They have caused thousands, maybe millions, of deaths on Earth and other planets, as one of their interests, or area of study, is how other races react to tragedies and cataclysms. Technologically they are extremely advanced. One alien race reported that they, the Tanzania, caused both the crashing of the Hindenburg as well as the sinking of the Titanic. They can live up to 500 years and are around 1.7 meters tall, 5 feet. They are avoided by other alien races. Last sighting, January 1999 in New York State. Ek. They come from constellation Ophiuchus, near Yed Prior, considered by other races as peaceful. The purpose of their visits is unknown. They never stay long on Earth and do not interact with humans or other aliens here. They mostly use Earth as a stop to quickly gather something they may need before they leave to their real destination. They are mostly nocturnal. Their ships emit a bright orange light and are, most of them, not all, octagonal in shape. Last spotted near London, England, in May 2003. Vinithvari. They come from constellation Parvo. They are very respected and peaceful race, presumably with mystical powers. They have been coming to Earth at least since 1000 AD. They do not carry out abductions and do not interact with humans. They can live up to 2000 years. Their height is similar to that of a normal human. They are vegetarians. Last sighting, near Odessa, Ukraine in July of 1995. Strom. They come from constellation Ursa Minor. Stroms are invertebrates and coelenterates. Their average height is 2 meters, 6.5. Vegetation is of great importance to their culture, and the main reason for their visits to Earth. They have been on Earth at least 200 times. They act with extreme caution and are rarely seen by humans. First visited Earth at the end of the last big ice age. They have 20 colonies in the Via Lactea galaxy. Their ships have the shape of an octagon. Last sighting, October 1976 in Oregon, USA. Kalenia. They come from constellation Aquifer, star raised. They have colonized 3 planets and have a lifespan of 150 years. They are often sighted in northern Africa and the Sahara region. First visited Earth around 300 BC. They do not conduct abductions. Main interest about Earth, minerals. Last sighted in 2003 near a volcano in Iceland. Mathili. Once related to the reptoid species, they are not, however, reptilians. They come from constellation Serpens, star Allia. First visit to Earth was only in June 13, 1965. They do not represent any threat to humans. Often seen around Antarctica. The reason for their visits is unknown. Last sighting, Antarctica, May 1, 1997. Reptilians. The most known and feared of the reptoid species, there are at least 3. They have been permanently on Earth for over 15,000 years. But the belief is that they may have been here, permanently or on and off, for millions of years. They come from constellation Draco. They have a presence in thousands of planets, and have at least colonized 500 by means of infiltration within the leadership of each planet. Some, not all, of their members have the power to shape-shift as well as telepathic abilities. On Earth they did not need to infiltrate human leadership all the time, as they often lived side by side with humans. And lived our evolution. All aspects of it. Alcobata. Presumably they have over 5,000 ships and have colonized over 100 planets on their own. Considered by other aliens as one of the parasite races. Abduction of humans are frequent and ongoing. Purpose of human abductions, unknown. They do not like to interact with other alien races. They come from constellation Perseus and are extremely aggressive. Suspected to have been involved in several airplane crashes, such as Flight 007 over the USSR in 1983. The USSR leadership took the blame for that crash. Last seen, September 2001 in Canada. Nagumak, aka Nomopo. First known visit to Earth happened only in 1989. They abduct humans and exercise control over the minds of their captives, which they use for their own benefit after the captives' release. Reason, unknown. This race was the inspiration for the alien race in the movie Independence Day. Note of Petro and me, the ARB states the same thing about another race. They are one of the oldest races. They are one of the races that most human governments fear when considering the future of humans. Zeta Reticuli, aka Shamtala. Often confused, because of their appearance, with the races Matra and Solipsi Rai, the Greys. They come from constellation nets. They are allies of the Anunnaki and cooperate with them in different planets. They are the representatives of the Anunnaki on Earth and send them information about humans and this planet at least 25 times per year. The Anunnaki created a subspecies of the Zeta with the purpose of making them look more human-like, but leaving enough physical differences for humans to distinguish them. They became some of the pharaohs of Egypt. Therese. Their origin is unknown. They are often seen near, or flying by, volcanoes. Identified due to the exquisite nature of their ships. They have never contacted humans and there are no reports of violence or abductions. Even though they are discreet, their presence on Earth is frequent. And they do not try to hide from view. There are several contradictory reports about their appearance. Last sighted, off the coast of Norway, in 2000. Puritav Ilumu, aka NOSYV7. Their origin is unknown. They are often sighted in the northwest of the USA, especially in the Oregon area. They have a special interest about Earth's oceans and are known to have underwater ships, aka USOs. In the 1980s and the 1990s they almost crashed a few times against US Navy ships, while the Americans were testing new sonar and radar systems. They are peaceful and mostly nocturnal. Last sighted in the year 2000 near San Francisco, USA. X1Z, aka X. Only sighted 2 times on Earth. According to reports from other races, they are able to shape-shift as many as 4 times in 10 seconds. Their origin is unknown. They conduct human abductions and perform medical experiments on the subjects. They have been visiting Earth since the mid-1500s. The only 2 confirmed sightings happened near Ayazig, Turkey. Caraveldi. Known to be, at times, extremely dangerous to humans as well as to other alien races. They come from constellation Chameleon. They have been permanently involved in conflicts with a few other races for over 500 Earth years. They are rarely seen on Earth. They live up to 150 years old. Reportedly they are 3 meters tall, 9 feet, and have 4 arms. Last sighting was near New Orleans, USA, in 1976. Elfaf. They come from constellation Boots, near Acellus Primus. They also resemble the Greys but are not related. This race has 4 different genders and they are known to be benevolent. The purpose of their visits is unknown, but they seem to have a special interest on raw materials, minerals, as they have been often sighted near old mines. Last sighting, San Isidro de El General, Costa Rica, in 2005. Matrax. Despite their appearance, installs fear in humans when sighted. This race is not known to be aggressive. They can live up to 400 years. They come from constellation Delphinus near Sualacin. They have been visiting Earth for at least 4,000 years, but were sighted quite often during the 19th century. They served as inspiration for the alien race in the movie Independence Day. Note of Petro and me, this the other second mention about a race being used as inspiration for that same movie. Last sighting happened near Marseille, France, in 1996. TISAR-3. Their origin is unknown, but there are reports stating that it takes them near 2 Earth years to get to this planet. They are the survivors of an extinct reptoid race, and do not possess the same level of technology or knowledge as other races visiting Earth. They do have some human characteristics, such as skin. In 1977 or 1978, near Siena, Italy, 2 of their species were captured after landing behind a church in ruins. 3 days later they were transferred to a USA air base. Still in Italy and finally taken to an undisclosed location where, supposedly, they still remain, contacts have mentioned somewhere in the South Pacific or in another USA base near Japan. The USSR Apus 3 was able to get a hold of one video recording of this species. Last sighting, January 3, 2001. Near Victoria, Canada. Eleanor, aka elves. Supposedly this is the race that started the myth of elves. They are sighted often in the Germanic countries, deep in the forests. They are not known to be lethal to humans. However, they are known as being pranksters. It seems that they enjoy scaring humans when these get too close. It has been reported that they have lured humans away from their cars in order to steal their possessions. Once the humans are far away from their vehicles, and they already have stolen what they wanted, they frighten them, which makes the humans leave the location. Last sighting, near Munich, Germany in December 2004.